What's up guys, Matty here. In today's video we're going to be checking out a new controller from MPMIDI called the MPMIDI controller. And what it is, it's a device that has a screen with a bunch of knobs around it, and you can control plugins and synths using this device, and it makes it a lot more intuitive when you're working with plugins. So in today's video we're going to check out how it works. I'll show you all the things I like about it, and we'll talk about some of the things I think could be improved. Let's go. All right, as you guys can see, here is the MPMIDI controller. It has all these knobs around it, and it's a screen. So it's actually a secondary monitor for your computer. And it comes with two different plugins. So you actually have to use their plugins. It's basically like a wrapper in order to use the device with your DAW. And it works with all DAWs, so it's no problem there. And you can see it. There's MPH MPH multi-effects, and MPH single effects. I'll just start with a single one, and it gives what the name implies. It's a single plugin, where the multi, you can stack a bunch of plugins and switch through them on the controller, which is actually pretty cool. So to get the plugin up, all you got to hit is control and display once this come up. And then as you can see on the other camera, this setting comes up, and you'll see these little encoders are all around with a bunch of buttons and options to hit from. Now, you can load plugins a couple different ways. Once you start saving your settings, because you do have to actually program each plugin, they do come with a ton of presets, so you can get started for sure. But I've found it's easier just to kind of program yourself with your way of working. But once you do that, you can go to show presets, and all the plugins that you've programmed will come up. So we could pull up like the Big Freak here from, or actually that's the Joe one. Let's pull up Big Freak. There we go. And so this comes up, and you can see I've color coded the knobs a certain way. And when I change the EQ, I have the red one as the red EQ, and then the frequency and the width. So, you know, you can grab everything and change everything how you want it really quickly with this. And it's cool because you kind of take your head away from the Pro Tools and just you're with the plugin or the EQ and just, you know, listening and EQing. So I really like that about this, is it just kind of makes it almost like a piece of hardware. If you don't have this programmed yet, you can go to your show plugin list, and what that will be is all your plugins that it scans, and it works with Audio Suite and VST in VST3. So all the plugins except AAX, but you don't need that because you can use all the other ones. And so you can load anything else you want, and you can bring your mouse down here and click, you know, the 2016 stereo room. Now this is pretty small. You can tap on it to make it bigger if you want. But what we'll do is I'll just show you how quick it is to be able to link these to the encoders. And all you got to do is hit link over here, and then click on one of the buttons, one of the knobs, and then click on which knob you want to assign it to down here. And so now, just like that, we have assigned our input to this knob here. And you can click on the knob and pick a color. So say this is red, we want it red, now it's red. And I know that my red knob is the input. And just like that, you can go to click link, and if you want the decay time over here, now the decay time's there. So now just like that, you can map this eventide in about 10 seconds. So a really easy way to map it out. And then once you're done, you've mapped it out, say we've gotten all our knobs, all you got to go up to here is go to save as, and save it as eventide. And now it's going to be in your show presets list as the eventide, as you see there. And now when I click it, it'll probably do the same thing. Well, no, it actually picked the other one. My fingers are fat, so I'm better off using the mouse. But there's the eventide now, and it comes up just as we had programmed it. So you just set it once, and it's done. The other option is the MPH multi-effects, and that gives you a little more customability. As you can see, it comes up with this cool kind of old wooden look, and you just click, no, it says no plugins loaded. You click the plugin, and you hit, you know, show preset, and we can load our, you know, our Big Freak again, and there's that. And then say we want another plugin after it, well, you just right click right here, and you can add a plugin before it or after it. So you can move these around, and you can even move it around once you load it. But let's just say we want to put something before this. Now we have another plugin loaded, and we can go to our show presets, and let's say we want to put the eventide we just did before it. So now we have the eventide going into the Big Freak. And you can even switch it over here. So I can do that one and then switch it back to the eventide, and back to the eventide, and EQ it there. And then go back to Big Freak and, you know, change the EQ setting here. So you can move really quick if you have a stack of plugins and it, you know, loads up just like that. Also, once you have a bunch of plugins stacked, you can actually bypass them or solo them just with this plugin set, which is another cool feature, and then turn them on and off as you wish. So those are the main features of the MPMIDI. I've been using it for about a month or two now, and I love using it for mastering. There has been a few downfalls that I've had some issues with. One is there's a little bit of disconnect. So when I'm actually on the MP and I hit spacebar to stop, it's like a different program. So it's detached from the DAW. So it's a very small thing, but I have to go back to the DAW and click the DAW in order to stop it. And I know that sounds kind of minute, but that can be kind of a pain. And I even programmed a button on my Stream Deck to stop and play. So it's a lot easier to stop and play with the DAW, and that's solved the problem. Another issue I found was when I used a lot of different plugins with a wrapper, the next time I went to load that session, it would take quite a while for the plugins to load. There's a spin wheel of, you know, the plugin load, spin wheel, plugin load, spin wheel. And if you have like 20 plugins going through the wrapper, it can actually take quite a bit of time to load the session, which if you're moving from session to session rather fast, like I am, could be a pain. If you're, you know, just on one session a day, you probably won't even notice it. You'll load it in the morning, you'll be done. But if you are switching sessions and you have a lot of the plugins on, it can be a pain. I believe this is the way they actually use their wrapper. It doesn't, you know, some wrappers, it takes forever. It scans all the plugins when you first turn it on. Then after that, it works just fine and you never have to scan it again. This doesn't do the initial scan, which I like, but I think the problem is after, you know, it scans it every single time. It has to load each plugin every time. So I don't know if that's something maybe they fix later on or if it's the way they want to do it. But I just found that, you know, it does take a while for the sessions to load. And the last thing that was a little bit of a problem was it did crash a few times. And I think that's more certain plugins and not actually their software. I think every DAW or wrapper company usually tends to say that it's, you know, it's the plugin, not the wrapper, and I get that. But that's just one thing to know is sometimes things crash, and I did have a few crashes on it while I was using it. Now, the question is who is this for? I think it's for anyone who wants to get a more tactile with their plugins. I haven't used it as much as I thought I would, but I think it's fantastic for mastering engineers who have like 3 or 4 analog style EQs that they love to use but are plugin form now. And you can go in and EQ and just listen. It's great for just doing that. I found I've used it on compressors a lot where I just want to dial in the compression and I just, you know, it's just another way. It's almost like using analog hardware where you kind of step away from the DAW and just are with that one plugin and just figuring out, you know, how you want things to sound. Another person it might be really great for is producers. If, you know, I was still producing and you had like Silent or one of the other great synths, you can program all those knobs to work with the MPMIDI. And to me, that'd be like the best case. You have all these, you know, you can change the attack and release and all that of your synth right with the knobs as you're playing it. And I think that'd be even cooler. So anyway, that is the MPMIDI in a nutshell. Let me know what you guys think about in the notes below. I think it's a fantastic device. Also, I did pay for this with my own money, but I did talk with the manufacturer and I've gotten some links that could help out the channel if you pay through there. So please check out the links below if you're interested in purchasing one. Really cool unit. I love these new, smaller companies who are forward thinking and coming up with new stuff that we all kind of want. Let me know what you guys think. Talk to you soon.